Last night I packed Romario on the free-to-play account, and as someone who's had the old school Legend Romario and the recent Brazil booster version, I think I'm in a good position to give my thoughts on how good this new Romario is. So in today's video I'm going to show gameplay clips, comparisons between the other Romario cards, recommended builds and skills, and then one little thing that I've never even considered before when looking at a card that explains why this Romario might even be way better than the other ones with the same stats. You can see here he intercepts the ball and carries it very well, and one thing I will say about this Romario in comparison to my other one is that this one feels a lot faster, and it makes sense when we look at the build. If we look at the build on my old Romario, you can see it has 91 speed, 92 acceleration, 90 balance and 86 dribbling, whereas the one I'm using with the build at the moment has better acceleration, balance, and most importantly the dribbling stat itself. Now you can look at this build and use it. This isn't the build I recommend. I'll explain why later I was using it, even though it's not the build I recommend. But you can see he intercepts the ball very well because of his pace, and then once he has the ball he carries it a lot better than this version of Romario does for me, and it's because of that 86 dribbling on the old one compared to the 91 on this one. If you don't know what dribbling does, it determines how quickly you run with the ball at your feet. So speed is different than dribbling in eFootball. Now one thing that's interesting about Romario in eFootball is he has his own unique skill move, the scoop turn. You can activate it by doing a fake shot, just kind of in the direction you expect the ball to go. It'll activate sometimes it won't, but one thing I did notice about this Romario is activated more often with him than the other ones. Don't know if there's anything about the card that would indicate why that is, or if it's just I was trying it more often because he's a new card. But unfortunately, Romario does have very good fake shots in this game. The ball does stay close to him more often than not, but he still has that kind of fake shot where the ball goes loose, which is kind of endemic to eFootball in general. But don't worry about it too much. He does have cut behind and turn, and you can see it get passively kind of activated there. I didn't put an input in to trigger cut behind and turn, but that first touch there is because he has cut behind and turn, and it wins us the foul. Next clip here is another demonstration of his pace and his very high dribbling. Well, high in comparison to the other one, 91. You can see here when the tackle comes in, Romario is going to jump over the tackle and put it in the back of the net, and that's because of the dribbling stat. Now it might happen on the other cards too, they might have enough dribbling, but one thing I've noticed about dribbling in this game is if you have your dribbling quite high, anytime a tackle comes in, your player jumps over the tackle or reacts in a certain way. Now this clip here is why I wouldn't recommend the build I was actually using. He has 93 finishing, 90 finishing, probably not too much different. At 95 finishing, he probably gets that on target because of the threshold. But you can see here, this is why Romario is so good in the middle on his own. You can pass it up to him and you can kind of go backwards and play make, or you can go in behind them. My opponent was a bit fed up by this point, but look at this chip shot here. There's no need to be hitting the chip shot there. Keeper isn't even off his line, but Romario can find that finish, and that's with 93 finishing. If I go down to 90, maybe it doesn't go in, but with 95 it certainly does more often. And remember, I'm on the RTG with this guy, so you can see I'm passing to about nearly every opportunity I have available. But he can be a bit of a deep line playmaker if he wants a bit of Maradona, starting from deep, comes in to the defense, kind of waves off loads of people, and then eventually wins the foul. But look at this shot here. Hit it to him straight from the free kick. Am I going to shoot? Should I be scoring from there? No, I definitely shouldn't. And then I put it in the back of the net. But that just kind of shows how good Romario's finishing is in this game. And another benefit of this card is he does start with gamesmanship. You can see there the clip I shown earlier, and then this one here, he kind of comes across, he's just holding onto the ball, just dribbling, you know, 4 defenders on him, and then as soon as a tackle comes in, because of the gamesmanship, the referee gives a free kick. Here's a beautiful example of the scoop turn in action, and then he plays a great through pass into De Bruyne. You would think it's De Bruyne playing the pass to him based on that. Now unfortunately De Bruyne didn't carry over Romario's finishing at the start, but at the end he got in and put the ball in the back of the net. Here's another example of the kind of proficiency in the box. You can play the pass into him and then turn and shoot very quickly. You can see how like the defenders should be marked, but Romario has always been in this game. You can play that little tiny pass into him, he'll turn around, very nimble, and shoot. Another example here, he also kind of uses his physical to get across the defender, uses his high dribbling to keep ahead of him, and then my opponent got fed up. Here we kind of round the keeper with Okafor. I wanted to try out that aerial superiority that starts on the card, and we did a little chip ball into him, and great effect here is him just automatically doing heel tricks. You know, player ID, really good. Playmaking here, play the pass up to him, back to De Bruyne, and here, bang, long shot. I didn't try too many long shots with him because I was able to dribble into the box with him very well, but the 1 or 2 that I did try were very effective. We're coming up to the end of the clips here. There's a body feint just kind of showing you how good, and then the outside curler power shot. And look at this clip here. Keep an eye on the opponent's players. These are all God Squad players. He's embarrassed Vieira there. This is the very start of the game from kickoff, dribbling into the box. And then importantly, he finished that sliding shot. That sliding shot, I'm sure you know, is very annoying. They always hit it wide, but Romario was managed to able to get it into the back of the net. Okay, so moving on from the clips now, I'm going to go talk about the builds, and then when you'll see the builds are actually quite similar between the cards, I'll go and explain why I think the hidden kind of stat on this new Romario might make him better than the other versions. So I give an in-depth justification for each build in this video here. I will show the builds in the current video you're watching right now as well, but if you do want a more in-depth kind of look, check out that video. Link will be in the description. Now, one of the builds I'd recommend, auto allocate actually gets us pretty close to what we'd be looking for. You can see here with auto allocate, it gets him to 100 balance, and balance is Romario's best attribute. I don't have any fox the boxes in this club, but fox the boxes are very commonly kind of physical strikers like a Haaland. Van Basten would be a bit more nimble, but still kind of a physical kind of guy. They would have low balance, whereas Romario's unique. He's probably the only fox in the box that I can think of anyway with high balance. So if you wanted to make Romario and play into that strength, you would go for auto allocate, although I would do a slight adjustment. So what you're going to do is keep the stats there the same, take off the aerial. If we put 1 point into shooting, we'll get the finishing to 95, which is what I'd recommend on if you're just purely worried about his finishing and you're not that good at dribbling. But as I talked about during watching the clips, you notice how high dribbling was kind of one of the bigger strengths on Romario. So in order to play into that strength, you would take 3 points off of the finishing. Sorry, I misspoke. It's actually 4 points off the finishing. And what that will do is if we take off the aerial as well and then the goalkeeper reach, you can see that it's going to get us to 90 finishing, and then we still have points left over, and those points are going to go into the dribbling stat, and then we're going to get that to this level here. You can see it'll be similar to the level I had on the build I was using, so that's the same build as I was using in terms of dribbling, and then you can try get that kick-up power up to 90 as well, and that will help his finishing overall. So I think this this build here is a really good mix of the pace on them with the balance, but you still get the 90 kick and power that will help the 90 finishing. And to summarize, it's 5 into shooting, 8 into dribbling, 12 dexterity, 10 lower body strength, and then nothing in anything else. Okay, so the next build is pretty similar to this one. It's just going to be taking off balance and putting more shooting in, and then the reason we put the more shooting in is to get it to 95 finishing. So you did see in the clips there was 1 or 2 times where he missed probably a shot that he maybe shouldn't have, and this 95 finishing build should get him there, and it still keeps the kicking power. Now the balance isn't going to be 100. I do believe that certain stats when they're at 100, I notice the kind of improvement, particularly the dribbling stats and finishing. I'm not 100% sure in balance, but I have heard some people say that they think 100 balance is noticeable. But we've got the beauty of the free reset, so you do have time if you've got this guy to kind of mess around. But this is another idea. If you get it to 95 finishing, you've entered a new threshold, and the finishing should be more consistent. Okay, last but not least, or maybe it might be least, I haven't had enough time to experiment properly with these guys yet, but you can try it out. 8 dexterity, so we're keeping these balance at 96. We got 12 dribbling. The finishing is going to be 5, so we're going for a 90 finishing. But the 12 dribbling is the biggest difference. We're getting that really high. But the lower finishing might not be an issue because we are keeping the kick and power at 90. So this one should have better dribbling, similar to why I was saying about 95 finishing. It's a new threshold. 95 dribbling and 95 tight possession will be a new threshold too. So this one's more if you're interested in the dribbling side of things. But if we go back to that first build we had, the balance might also kind of recreate the higher dribbling build. But again, try it out yourself and let me know what you think. Now, what skills would I recommend? The only thing he majorly needs really is flip flap. It'll help you obviously with your double touch, and then particularly the double touch shot. I've done a video on that, analysing who I think is the best player in the world, Franquinho, and he hits the double touch shot very often. I've incorporated it into my own game and it's very, very, very effective. So check that video out if you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, go for flip flap on Romario. Other skills, then you should probably put one touch pass and true passing on alongside Marseille turn and long range curler or fighting spirit. Now the thing is, like, Romario has all these crazy skills, so he like you're kind of looking just for a random skill to put on him. I was thinking heel trick, but you've seen in the clips earlier he did hit a heel trick already. Some players have player ID and hit them, so I don't think he needs heel trick. per se. But yeah, I would go definitely in order flip-flop, one-touch pass, true passing, fighting spirit, and then you choose between long-range curler or Marseille turn. I don't think I have any kind of favor for one over the other. It'll be up to if you hit Marseille turns very often in game or not. And now we'll take a look at the other Romarios, and I'll explain what this hidden stat is that makes this Romario really good. You can see they are kind of a similar level, although this one does have lower balance, so we're going to adjust the builds to get it similar, more similar rather, to the lower balance. So we'll go 90 finishing and then go the rest into balance. Now this one does have a high advantage on paper here. It's the 98 offensive awareness. I don't think I noticed the 98 offensive awareness though from playing with both versions. I've played 500 games with this Romario. I think I played, was it 9 or 14 games with the other one, or the new one rather. I don't notice that offensive awareness. I think Fox the boxes aren't great. So the new one definitely is an improvement. Is it worth upgrading? If you're someone who spends hundreds and hundreds and hundreds in this game, maybe it is worth an upgrade, because Platini is also in the pack, and I think Platini is amazing. For me, it's not going to be worth an upgrade. I'm not going to spend all my money on the game. So yeah, but regardless of what is on paper in terms of the stats, what I was saying, the hidden stats, it might be here. You can see calm playstyles, amazing run, and speeding bullet. So this one has 2 extra AI playing styles, and this one actually doesn't have any playing styles. And you might think that makes the old one better. I would think that too, but I heard from various people in my stream tell me that a lot of the Japanese pros who are very knowledgeable about this game, they know a lot of the intricacies, they kind of have a passion for that type of stuff. They were saying before the card, they even used the cards, they said this new Romario doesn't have any AI playing styles, it'll be better. And to be honest, maybe I have noticed that. I did feel like this Romario was getting very involved in the game, even with the lower offensive awareness. He was getting very his runs were a lot better. And that's specifically what they talked about. They talked about the AI runs being better. And I think I noticed that. Now, there is a caveat to that. I'm on my RTG. I'm Division 3 at the moment, so I'm not playing as high-rated opponents, really. But, yeah, I don't know. I think this Romario does have better movement, so it's kind of funny that lower offensive awareness results in better movement. So, maybe that is also another factor in considering why you might want to spin. So, a pretty good addition to my RTG, and it's been a while since I uploaded, and there have been more additions since. So tomorrow I'll be doing a kind of club recap for the RTG, and I've made some progress in Division. So we finished top 100 on the main account last phase. Let's see how high we can get on the RTG. I don't know, top 1,000 maybe 500. Maybe no, we'll set a target and try reach it.